Hello people, welcome to episode 6, I believe, of Minecraft Modern Survival. Let's go and plug in the laptop. Okay, not plug in the laptop. Do that first, and then go safe inside. Then I can. That'd probably be a better idea. So, what's happened? So, since last time, I have done some stuff. Of course, I've done some stuff. However, to be more exact, I have updated like the paper, basically server stuff has been updated. That's really what's basically the only things that's really happened. Now, well, I say that. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, everything's sort of a bit boring server stuff, but essentially the server's, a lot more up to date now in terms of plugins. And there's not really any new plugins added to the server. However, I have been testing it in offline mode, and it doesn't quite work for some reason. So basically, for those unaware, offline mode is a mode where basically it doesn't connect to the main servers, which means like if like those servers were to go down, you should, or well, I believe this is how it works. You should be able to join still. However, the thing is, with them not being connected, it means that you can choose any username you want. So, offline mode servers have a thing where you have to create an account, so it'd be like register, password, confirm password, like that. And it'd be like, and then you press enter, and then you log in automatically, and you put in your password. So my password's just password, for example, and it would work. You'd be logged in, all your data's safe. Of course, you've got some problems. For example, logging in through here causes problems. So it's, insecure. Anyone could see your password. If like they were looking at your screen, you could see the password because it's not censored. It's not designed for it. It's a chat. And of course, really, there's the only really solution I'd say. Well, okay, there's two. Of course, don't use online mode, offline mode. Just use online mode, or a solution that I'd say would work as well is making people log in through a web browser. And I feel like that has been done. I'm pretty sure that's what the Action Retro server did. Or well, that's what I think the Action Retro server did. I'm not exactly too sure. It's a much better system, it's much more secure, and so on. So I would love to do that, however I'm not sure if I would be able to. But I could theoretically get a plugin that can do it. Now I have actually installed a plugin called Nexel, but it doesn't seem to be compatible with 1.19. So it basically doesn't function, and problems. So the solution is to go find another plugin essentially, and that's what I'm going to do. However, with all that explanation, let's do some stuff. So I'm gonna first off just make those that. I think probably another thing is actually to make the platforms have little line colours and logos and stuff. So let's just make sure I get a shovel. So the shovel will be useful. You'll see why in a bit. Well, I say in a bit, I'm literally going to show you what. So to make concrete, which I use on the edge of the platforms and for the logos, you need sand. No problem, sand. And then the other material we need, well, there's two more materials technically. You need gravel, so that might be a bit of a problem, and dye of the colours, and I'm going to be choosing yellow, which is relatively easy to find. It should probably be accessible on this island even. So yeah. Also, I should probably explain why I want to use offline mode. Of course, you know, Mojang servers are down. I say Mojang now. I said Mojang earlier. Ignore that. When their servers down, essentially, you'll should. I don't actually know if this is the case. It's more of an assumption, but I feel like it makes sense. So, if their servers were down there from authentication servers, you should still be able to access my server. And the next thing I'm going to say is to access the server on devices that may not support logging through a Microsoft account. However, they still support Java Edition Minecraft. And the reason why I'm motivated to do this is, number one, make my game more accessible, make my server more accessible to more people. Another thing is also the fact that I have an iMac G5 and it can play all the way up to Minecraft 1.8.9, a relatively smooth 30 to 20 FPS. Not bad for a computer that's 18 years old, and I want to play on there. And when I was doing the test, it was working. I did connect to it on there, connect to this server on the iMac. However, yeah, I had to use offline mode. I've had to take out my chest. I guess I'm going to have to move this. Notice that, oh, it's because of the sand. I'm going to have to move this down, aren't I? For those unaware, this world isn't actually new. It's an old world, but I'm reusing it because that's what you're supposed to do. So the original spawns, you know, all the way over there, quite a while away, and everything. Now, I don't know if I'll return to the old world or what, but I'm just keeping it, you know, here now, in this new place. Yeah, so this server's been around for a while. It's a server you can join. I think I forgot to put on my little thing in the corner, so I apologise for that. But the IP is survival.18argons.xyz, and you are able to connect all the way back to 1.7.2. You should be able to. At the very least, you should be able to connect on 1.8.9. Which is very nice. Yeah, so for Minecraft on the iMac G5, you are stuck in offline mode, so because it's like not really got a launcher essentially. No one's bothered to make a proper launcher, although it should theoretically be possible. You know, as long as the Microsoft website works, it should be able to. I mean, you've got, you know, custom Minecraft launchers that let you log into Microsoft accounts, such as what I'm using right now, Prism Launcher. But yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be a problem for them. It's just, you know, no one's, well, it's more like no one's bothered to make one than no one wants one. That's the situation essentially. So I'm going to look for some gravel. That's what I'm supposed to do. Can get rid of this. Yeah, so it's down here. I should have probably emptied my hat. I'm going to empty my inventory first. That'd probably be a better idea. Yes, so eventually you should be able to access the server on an iMac G5. Now, I'm going to say that's not the only thing that I'm planning to do, because I'm planning to try and get this plugin called Via Legacy. Now, the plugin that lets you connect all the way back to 1.8.9 and 1.7.2, it should also allow you, and all the versions in between, is called Via Backwards with Via Rewind. So Via Backwards allows you to connect to the server from all the way back to 1.9. However, Via Rewind lets you connect all the way back to 1.7.2. So it should. So someone's made a version called Via Legacy. And what this allows you to do is to connect to the Minecraft servers. Of course, these are plugins for the server, so the server owner has to do it. I should say that. Point that out. But basically, it supports basically an absurd amount of versions, pretty much everything, even earlier. So you could play on some absurdly old computer that can run a really old version of Minecraft, and it should work. No, it didn't seem to be plug and play. I think you needed to make a config file. I do need to look into it. I will, I promise, because I want it. Because if eventually we upgrade my iMac G3 to macOS 10 and storage upgrade and all that, I should be able to play this server on there. Now, of course, on the iMac G3, it's going to be very limited. It'll probably I believe it'll only play Minecraft 1.2.5. And it won't run it very well. It will probably only get you a few FPS. So, on like the lowest settings, of course. But it's definitely not horrible. Plus, you're going to play, also to be fair, you're also going to be at a very low resolution. So that's like proper pushing to the limits. But it would be cool to have a 24-year-old computer being able to play this Minecraft server. So hopefully I've filled you on with some technical stuff. It's not that technical, it's just how the server runs essentially. But yeah, all of that technical stuff, all of that could happen. You could play this on a 24-year-old iMac. You could play it on, some really absurd things. You never know. It could be something absurd. I've covered up the entrance, haven't I, to the mineshaft. There we go. So, you could play on some absurd computers, more than what I just said. Those were just examples, because that's what I own. I do want to eventually get like an old Windows computer and try and get as much cool, fancy stuff working on there. I think it's cool quite fun trying to get like some really old computer stuff to run some modern stuff, I think that's, cool. And, I do want to make a video where I try and, daily, some of these older computers. I've done it with old iPhones, why can't I? Rebel finally. Yeah, like why can't I do it with computers? But the main answer is a lot of games that I would want to play just aren't supported. But you know, Minecraft's well, okay. I say a lot of games. I rarely game. The things I really do on the computer is Minecraft. Minecraft's probably the game that I've played the most. Then I'd say Sea Skylines, but it's probably Fortnite now. So yeah, I don't really think you can get Fortnite on some 20-year-old computer. I doubt there's even 32-bit versions, unfortunately. But I could definitely get Minecraft. Minecraft's literally, a Java game, which, Java's not well optimized, let's be real, but it being a Java game basically means it can run on anything that can run Java. And yeah, Java can run on a lot of things, so it's not a problem running on, most things. You can run it on literally like anything. Of course, once again, the same problem of you'll probably be stuck in offline mode because no one's bothered to make a launcher for maybe like that particular architecture and for that particular operating system. So you've got those. However, I think it's cool, seeing things that were really not intended to run this or that, just running it, I think, it's cool. So having my Minecraft server accessible from that would be really cool, I think. So, yeah. And already, I say already, not really already yet, but in the very near future, probably, you could potentially connect from an iMac G5. And theoretically, I'm pretty sure, no, maybe not. I would say theoretically. Okay, I was going to say you might be able to connect to this server on an iMac G4, but I don't think it supports 1.8. Or more like, it should actually. I don't know. But yeah, let's say maybe you could. If you got installed some a Delhi Linux, then yeah, you should theoretically be able to play this server actually. Theoretically, you could play this in some, because I'm pretty sure, I think it's OpenBSD has a Java package for PowerPC, like Java 8. So you should be able to play all the way up to Minecraft 1.17 on an iMac G3, theoretically. I'm just literally basing it off of Java requirements. Of course, there's probably some other things that aren't supported, so it's probably not actually the case. But maybe you could play even newer versions. Another thing is, on macOS 10 Tiger, you could theoretically, using Java requirements, play Minecraft 1.11, because that was the last version to support Java 7, which is what the latest version of Java that Tiger can run on PowerPC. I bet if you're on Intel, you'll probably get even better support. I don't. These are all theoreticals. I do want to try and get Minecraft working on newer versions. I don't think I've actually got a newer version of Java working, because I think 1.8.9 still requires Java 5, which is all sort of built in, whilst Java 6 and 7 are sort of IBM versions. Now, the thing you've got to remember, IBM was, I say was, they still are, I believe, part of the PowerPC group. Can't remember who the other one was. But yeah, I'm getting into real technical stuff now. Well, I say real technical, it's literally just CPU architectures. But it might sound very technical and very confusing to someone who has no clue what I'm talking about. But essentially, IBM makes makes PowerPC, which is why they had the version of Java that could support it for longer than like a standard version of Java. Okay? But yeah. I'm looking for the flowers. You got red, which is what I want. Well, not what I want. I want yellow. Because that's of the Clyrail logo colour. It's becoming night time. I guess it's not on this island. Oh no, is that? Oh no, I thought I saw yellow flowers. I think they might only generate in planes. I mean, some flowers only generate in planes. I might have to go to the other island. But yeah, having Minecraft running on really old computers is just really cool. You know, but yeah. If like I ever, get a new version of Minecraft, then 1.8.9 on my iMac, I'll of course certainly try and do a tutorial. Because tutorials are useful. And then I'll try and, Macintosh Garden and whatever. Okay? And people might be happy about it. Maybe I could. Okay, though. I'm getting too ahead of myself. There probably is a roadblock left here, but because surely someone has thought, oh yes, what if I was able to do that? But yeah. In fact, I think there was like a warning about like graphics cards on certain versions, and that might be why. And of course, you can't really replace the GPUs in the iMacs. In the Power Max, you can, that's a full-on desktop tower. But no, the iMac's just an all-in-one. And of course, you're limited on what GPU you are able to use on macOS 10.4 Tigers. There's not going to be drivers for literally every GPU. Of course, you could be like, oh, install Linux, and yes, that would work, and you're not wrong. And then, you're now limited to the problem of, oh, can you get this Java working? And, oh, it's possible. Yeah, okay. Let's go to the other island. But, yeah. The plans for this server is try and get more stuff sorted, try and get, offline mode working, because, Also, another thing, I was playing it in offline mode, even though my username was still Clyro, basically forgot about my existence, so my inventory and stuff was like empty, and it wouldn't let me access my own chests, which is weird. Maybe I was like capitalization. Maybe I did capitalize it. I'm sure I did, but I don't. So you've got that problem as well. So it's like, the 30 or so unique players who have joined on here, and so on and so on. Problems. Okay. So yellow flowers, I'm going to try and remember that. I'm getting carried away with this conversation. But I think it's a good conversation to have. But yeah. So I could potentially get like some really old stuff. But also, I mean, to be fair, you could probably get like some really old Pentium 2 to run some very recent version. of like Minecraft, but like it's kind of more exciting if you have hello B. Why's the bee frozen? Okay, not quite frozen. I'll maybe again next time. But yeah, you could probably get like some sort of Pentium 2 system running in like Minecraft 1.12 or something stupid like that. But the point isn't that. Well, okay, it is of course cool having like a Pentium 2 from like what is it like 97 or whatever, but running a very well a quite recent version of Minecraft. But like the thing is, that's not the point. The point is okay. The point is, PowerPC is a different architecture, only really used by Macs and some other computers. And it's kind of dead now. It's not really being used by modern computers due to like the power consumption and their heat and stuff. Seem like those computers which are sort of faded to obscurity almost, not necessarily because they're using Macs, and Macs are quite popular. Were popular then, probably more popular now, but they're still popular. And there's definitely a community in there doing all sorts of cool stuff. But as I've said, I've sort of lost one. It's more exciting to get it working because it's a different architecture. It's not as simple. You can't even install Windows. There was like a weird version of Windows, things like 3.1, and I think someone did manage to do it, but I haven't seen any footage. And you do need to do modifications. I'm really not certain, so I'm not going to say that I'm very sure, but I'm pretty sure someone did manage to get it working. But of course, it's an old version for a completely different architecture. You're not really going to get any functionality. It's just like a Windows on ARM, Oh, I could make this Raspberry Pi run Fortnite. Number one, of course, it's not powerful enough, and number two, it's Fortnite's and an x86 64-bit application. Completely different architecture. I think Windows has the tool to convert it, but it's not very good. Like a massive performance loss, and of course, don't forget Raspberry Pi's a low power computer, and it's like not supposed to be about the performance necessarily. It's about power consumption. It's a single board, so you've got that. When I'm thinking about it, of course, or you could run like Minecraft 1.11 on the thing, I should really think about if surely someone would have done it if it was possible, as people have got Minecraft 1.8.9 working, but not 1.11, for example. Maybe the Java just doesn't work at all, the 6 and the 7. Maybe that's it. But, yeah, let's just think about that. But, yeah, you can't really run like Fortnite on a Raspberry Pi because, different architecture and like translating it would be way too much. And even if it was a native application, it'd still probably run really rubbish because it's a Raspberry Pi, which is not supposed to be your gaming computer, So those are just like my thoughts, my opinions on that. But it is, of course, still really cool to see even 1.8.9. That's still quite a recent version of Minecraft. I mean, Hypixel is 1.8.9, for example. You can't connect to it because you're limited to offline mode, and Hypixel is an online mode server. But yeah, Okay, I'm going to see you in part 2. Be back in a bit. So, flowers we were looking for. Also, I'm going to get lost. But, that's technically fine as there's a spawn command. And then, of course, there's a frame drop as well, for some reason. Flowers, flowers, flowers. Oh, there's one. There's two. Okay, they do seem to... Oh, there's three. There's two. I'm in three. Is that a temple? No. Oh, is that... Oh, no, that's not the snow. I thought that was the snow where you get trapped in. No, it's literally diorite. Thank you, Vanilla Tweaks. Playable Edition mod. Id 1 texture pack. For making me think that. Okay. I don't know if I'm going back the way I came or what. There definitely was a jungle. But to be fair, I've got three. Three is better than none. But let's be real, 4 is better than 3. So I could fly, but yeah, that's cheating, I'd say. Okay. Okay, I don't think this is the way I came, which is good because I don't want to go that way. Okay. I mean, I should probably reinstall the world map, shouldn't I? Really? But, oh well. Cave there, that I almost stepped into. Okay, if there were yellow flowers, they would probably be here. I don't see yellow flowers, yes! Perfect timing. As I was literally about to say, oh, I don't see yellow flowers. Well, I mean, I did technically just say that. I'm seeing those white flowers. Right, the white dye. So I probably won't want them. But that is an assumption, that could be wrong, but not in the mood to try more yellow flowers. Let's go. Okay. So, flowers, flowers. Make this a screenshot. In fact, it's how. There we go. Screenshot for the thumbnail, of course. 5. Personally thought, oh, let's add screenshots into Minecraft. It's the biggest genius ever invented. There's more over there. Okay, I've gone from not enough, almost fell done there, that other things I still. Gone from not enough to as much as I need. Way probably even more than I need. I probably don't even have enough gravel and sand amounts of it. But let's continue. Oh god, that car was loud. This is why I hate cars, they're just rude. They never listen. They kill people without any option to live, you know? Cars are just designed to be evil. You know, they destroy Earth, you know? Well, not all of them. Well, okay, technically probably in manufacturing. Yes, they do still. In silly, well, okay, I'm not saying silly. Well, I mean they're still silly because they're cars. Yeah, cars are silly because they're cars. Nothing will fix that. Let's be real. They're inefficient. They're pieces of metal boxes that are going to kill people. You know? I don't worry if people defend them. They're rubbish, really. Cars for personal use are just a waste. In the real world, yeah. Okay. In the ideal world, we should really just be focusing on bikes because, I mean, bikes are still personal. They're still things you drive, except from, they're like tiny compared to cars. They're more efficient because people place them further together, closer together. They don't pollute because they're literally. Well, okay, I mean you can get electric ones, and electric ones aren't bad either because if you think about it, it's got all of the advantages of bikes with more advantages. You can not use your own energy if you wanted to, but I mean nothing's stopping you from using your own. I guess if it didn't have pedals, then yes. But being able to do it manually is cool. Being able to do it automatically, that's also cool. You've got to remember that. But let's be real, the main thing that really helps them is they don't do any damage, really. Even back in the Victorian times, well, okay, to be fair, Victorian times were only just technically the start of cars, and really the cars didn't really properly start gaining popularity until, the start of the 19th century. But, cars are just inefficient mailboxes that kill people and kill the planet. Well, sometimes kill the planet. I mean, I'd say still most cars do it, But what are you supposed to do? I thought that was like some weird enemy that's been. Yeah, cars are evil. I think I've made it clear. God, it's weird seeing emeralds here. It just feels like it shouldn't exist. I feel like I'm going in the completely wrong direction. Did I even turn back? I'm not sure if I did. But oh well. But yeah, this is going from all about PowerPC to Minecraft server to PowerPC to why I hate cars. It's amazing how random the topics covered in this video. But I mean, unedited videos probably should, have some really weird off topic. Like the sort of video should really have some sort of off topic discussion. And I managed to do it. I can make a podcast out of this probably. Should I though? There's like already 9 billion podcasts. Everyone's got a podcast these days. And what am I going to bring to it? My off-topic discussions that just I'm like really boring rubbish that I'm saying. What am I adding? To be fair, I did almost technically record one before. It spawns the old spawn. Yeah. This is the old spawn, by the way. There's a climb round logo. But yeah. Whoops. What is it? It's new spawn, isn't it? Yeah. So, new spawn. I've not made any other spawns. Not spawns, I mean warps. But yeah. Okay. Time to do what I've been wanting to do. But yeah. Yeah, I've literally got 37, that's not even the right thing. There. Got sand. I've not got that much gravel. I should have really got more gravel. I literally went past print patch. Gravel was like, nah. To be fair, I don't actually need a massive amount of gravel. So, it shouldn't really matter that much. But yeah. I've never really thought about a podcast, but maybe if I was to do, mic upgrade, a bit more polish. I don't think a podcast is a horrible idea. I mean, yes, there's, a lot of podcasts, but at the same time, it's sort of just for discussion, It's not necessarily about topics. You don't need to make a subject necessarily about a particular topic, when I think about it. And when I think of it like that, it sounds like a cool idea. It doesn't sound like a horrible idea. It sounds like an idea that I could do and maybe should do. And, have it released on the same day each week. Pre-record it, bulk record it. And now I think about it, a podcast actually sounds like a good idea. I just want to say that. It's a good idea. So maybe you'll see a podcast on your podcast platforms. I know there's a Fediverse podcast platform. I would say it's called Podman, but I'm probably wrong. But see on there, subscribe. You can follow it on your Mastodon or your Kalki or your PixelFed or your PeerTube or whatever. Well, okay. Yeah. So it doesn't sound like a horrible idea. Maybe you'd be interested in following it. Maybe, you'd want to see it. And you'd watch it. And if you do, scream at me in the comments below. For some reason, one of the episodes not the last episode, episode 4 got a lot of views compared to all my other videos recently. And it's only at like 50 views, so that still says maybe I'm not doing particularly well in views. And the answer is probably because I'm not doing particularly well in views, literally what I just said. But if that's getting popular, there's a possibility of, this video getting quite a few views. Of course, when I'm saying about a lot of views, I'm referring to YouTube, not PeerTube. I mean, let's be real, I do wish PeerTube was more popular because it's really good. Well, okay, I say really good. The main problem is there's not really a PeerTube studio, nothing to anything that remotely resembles YouTube studio, which, let's be real, isn't great, but it's an absurdly massive amount of times better than whatever PeerTube's got. But yeah, so I guess this is slowly becoming the new Clydro podcast. Oh god. Okay, if you are interested in that, well, okay, I am probably actually going to do it. Let's be real. Okay. So, the idea of podcasts, it's not an original idea. But, to be fair, do work as long as you've got an idea of what you're talking about and stuff. And, I mean, as of right now, I'm just, filling up with ideas. I could, do a bit where I just talk about the videos I've uploaded, you know. Even that would be content, and you know, maybe it would help people watch it if I give a summary of a video and, you know, write notes about what I'm going to say, of course, and do all these stuff, because all of what I've just been doing this entire video has just been unscripted. It's my fault. Of course, that could also work, but it could also not work when I'm not as filled up with ideas, you know. But I do think it really could have a potential, you know. It could give me views, it could give me subscribers, it could give me all this stuff that I might want. It's not going to give me money though, because I'm not here for the money. I'm not in it for the money. Certainly not. I mean, I don't have sponsors. Number one, I'm tiny, but number two, even if I were to get sponsorship offers, I'd probably decline them, or try and see if I could make them as minimal as possible. Probably put them at the end, try and keep them short, because I don't want to sell out. I'm worried that this is good. I'll get suddenly change my mind. No, maybe I will. Maybe if it was in some situation where it was really low money, I'd have to do it. But as of now, the answer is no. Sponsorships are not happening on the Clyde Way YouTube channel. There's much better stuff that I do than sponsorships. They make videos unenjoyable. What's the point of sponsorships even in the modern day? You've got sponsor block, you know? If you've ever used sponsor block, it works because it's user submitted. As long as you're not on like a tiny channel, it'll work. If you're on Linus Tech Tips, that's like as soon as it comes out, you'll have sponsor block essentially. And maybe at this point, sponsor block now like tries and works out sponsors through chapters, which might work. That'd actually be a cool idea if they haven't done it already. I wouldn't be surprised if they've already done that. Sponsor block is a cool like extension that is really cool, let's just say. And I remember thinking, oh, it'd be cool if someone made a thing where like users submit bits which are like of a video you on YouTube that are sponsored, and it just skips it for you, because I'm fed up of trying to work out where the sponsors are and stuff, you know. And you know, I'm finally happy, you know, a couple years ago at the very least, that someone thought, oh yes, we should do that, you know. I mean, we've got ad block, we've had it for a long time. Now, of course, of course, things are going to change, really. But, of course, you know, it has to be user submitted, and, you know, it's harder to make because of that. But, you know, considering what's been happening recently, AI is going to do it. AI is going to do it, and it's going to do a good job however long. It's going to eventually do a good job where it won't need to be user submitted, and you know, it'll be amazing when that happens, you know. Just no more sponsors, but for now it's user submitted. I mean, I guess, you know, eventually they'll introduce it, and they'll probably have, you know, let users correct it. I wonder if someone could do that but with like, I wonder if someone's like made an extension where it's just user submitted subtitles. Oh, that'd be a good idea if YouTube added them. Oh wait, they removed that because typical Google. We all know the Google thing. They kill off things. They kill anything that's good, including community subtitles. which I think is ridiculous. And let's be real, TNT subtitles on PeerTube would be amazing. I mean, sponsor block and TNT subtitles and a proper studio would make it like way better than what YouTube is. It's like those are really the main things that make YouTube good. Well, I say good, yeah, it's not necessarily good. That's quite misleading, but you get what I'm trying to say. Make PeerTube, it makes YouTube the leader. Let's say the leader of video sharing platforms. I think that's probably the best way to phrase it. But yeah. Oh, maybe I should just rename this the Clyde Way Podcast Episode 1. To be fair, where would I do the podcasts? Probably a Saturday or Sunday. That just feels like the correct time. Well, okay, I say the correct time because, that's where, like, the WAN show releases, and that's it's pretty much a podcast if you think about it. I mean, if I'm being honest, I hate Linus. But I'm not a fan of Linus Tech Tips. They're massive sellouts. I get, they're massive they've got to pay off the staff, but I hate the fact they claim they're independent, but really they're just massive sellouts, and at the end of the day, they're not a massive corporation compared to like Apple, but they're still a company designed for profit, and at the end of the day, it makes their videos really unbearable if you don't have sponsor block. And of course, I'm pretty sure the sponsor block page literally uses Linus Tech Tips as an example because they've got the intro, which to be fair, they have started to remove. I don't mind the intro, it's just, it's the same thing over and over again, nothing changes. But like you've got they've got like at least 2 sponsors of video, I believe. Like one near the start and one near the end. And then also they've got the really most annoying thing of trying to shove in their store. I'm not going to say it, but their store for their merch, which may or may not be good, but it's expensive. Quite expensive last time I checked. I haven't really looked at it. It's probably cheap for merch, and they do at least put effort in it by looks of it. But like, still, and Linus is just absolutely irritating person. I like Luke. He's a nice. He seems quite nice. There are other people in there that I seem to like. It's just Linus just seems to be the most irritating person ever. I don't like. I'm saying I don't like his voice, but that's a bit harsh. At the end of the day, he didn't choose to have that particular voice, etc., etc. But like, I think it's not necessarily because his voice sounds like that, but because I've sort of associated it with being quite negative, which is me. That's my fault. But like, yeah. The other reasons is apparently they did a video a couple years ago on an iMac G3, and there was a lot of misinformation in there. And if there's a lot of misinformation in old iMac videos, there is a chance of misinformation in the other videos. And it was quite a frequent thing because, Mac84, that is his name, right? Did a video talking about this, and one of the things was a mistake that I would probably noticed as well. It was saying, I can't remember, I think it's like, I got 400 megahertz. This was the highest end model, right? Like, 400 megahertz definitely isn't the highest end model of the iMac. It went all the way up to 700 megahertz because I own a 600 megahertz iMac G3. I also own a 350, but I own a 350 and a 600, so I would have immediately been like, that is not wrong, not correct. I feel like people, like tech YouTubers, not doing the research very well is a common thing. It really shouldn't be that common. Oh yeah, also I don't like their thumbnails. So back in the day, probably like 2017 at this point, or maybe 2018, no I think it's 2017, they changed their thumbnails from a screenshot from their video with a piece of text that's usually relatively relevant to the video topic itself to absolute rubbish clickbait style thumbnails with like things, and it's just like, and it's usually like hard to tell what the video is about. If you were to just look at from the thumbnails, you'd be like, I have no clue. With my thumbnails, I'd make it pretty clear what the video is about. If not, I have, the border around the video with the little icon in the bottom right corner indicates what type of video it is. So you've got pink and controller, which looks more like pink anime girl hair. I kept it that way because I thought that was funny, by the way. I could have, just improved it, but no. That's a gaming video. If it's yellow border with a yellow square, that's a sort of vloggy type of video. If it's blue and what is it? It's a weird square and square with like a triangle. I'm getting it the right way round. It's a discussion video. What else? Oh, if it's red and it's got a little triangle, it's a tutorial, and you get the point. Oh, if it's a green with like a rounded, what is it? Quarter of a circle. That's a showcase video. So on. I put those markers there for a reason. They're there to indicate what the video's about. It's the thing that I think, thumbnails miss. They lack that. I've got it there for a reason, and then, usually it'll be a piece of text that's roughly what the title's about. Sometimes it's, matches up to the title. Sometimes it's shortened or extended or slightly changed to get a point of the video across. But I try and make it relevant and easy to work out what this video's about by looking at it. If you think, it could be improved or whatever, you're more than welcome to contact me. We've got my calc key. Refer to my website, essentially, clydegro.cc. It's got everything you need to contact me. Everything. Or you can do it in the comments. Nothing's stopping you from doing it in the comments. But all of that is what this video, my channel's trying to do. It's trying to get the point across. And okay, I'll say that, to be fair, recently I have been lacking this, but straight to the point videos. Okay? Videos that get to the point. Look at my tutorials. They just, okay. Maybe not my recent ones. I think I should redo them, and to be fair, I'm going to redo them. So recently I found out that I could essentially make a HTTPS website load or like places where HTTPS isn't possible. Now it's targeted by looks of it, for old iMacs. Well, old Macs, I said. Old computers, desktop computers. However, it works on old versions of iOS. So, on older versions of iOS, you can't load Wikipedia by doing wikipedia.org. You have to do enm.wiki2.org/wiki. Then you can, do it. Use Wikipedia normally. Now, it's a bit dodgy. It's a bit awkward. So I found out a way where you change the proxy and it loads HTTPS websites for you, which is really cool. It means you can load more websites, essentially. And Reddit should work, but on Safari on there, it didn't load. It was like it failed to convert it, essentially. So, yeah. But Wikipedia, no, not Wikipedia. Well, yes, Wikipedia. I mean, technically, yes. So, if you were to use it, you'll be able to access Wikipedia.org just by doing that. Nothing required, no extra steps. Another thing is also just I could view YouTube website. It wouldn't load, of course, but I mean, before we've got like errors, it would, like be stuck on the loading thing. And Twitter, just said, oh, this web browser's no longer supported. So I did that on iOS 4.1 on my iPod Touch 3rd Gen. It should work on really any iOS device. I see no reason why not, as long as it lets you change to proxy. Hopefully all the iOS versions let you do it, but I'm not too sure. I haven't really looked at doing it. I haven't done it on any other devices, so testing that out, seeing what websites work and what don't. Maybe that could make more of a higher quality video than what I normally would do, and it could work. Another thing I've been doing, I know it's not, spyware and whatever, and it is probably spyware, but I mean, Twitter's spyware and owned by an absolute idiot, whilst TikTok is spyware and probably sending stuff to the CCP, which isn't particularly great. But I mean, what is the CCP gonna do? I mean, it could go nuclear. They have nuclear weapons. Of course, the solution is, get rid of the nuclear weapons, really. And, maybe you're not using TikTok. TikTok would be a good idea. But it's just, I've gone far from the point I was going to say. So, the point I was going to say is, make a higher quality video, showing what works without, with it and without, cool stuff like that, and maybe do cool things you can do on old devices in 2023. That'd be a cool thing, and maybe I could include that as part of it, because it is a cool thing you can do. It improves compatibility with stuff, and so on. I'm recording, right? Yeah, I am. Okay. And better compatibility with stuff is way better than not having stuff. I think the thing that people don't seem to realise is, by removing support, you're making, let's say, removing VLC support for Windows XP. I believe VLC still supports Windows XP, but I'm just going to use it as an example. It'd be like, oh, you shouldn't be using it because it's got security issues. But the thing is, you've got to think about, by you leaving the user on an older version of VLC, which, you know, the network streams, it connects to the internet for like metadata access and so on. By not updating it, you're actually making it worse. You're not improving it. The user's probably not going to update to Windows 10. They're not. So don't even try. You know, you might as well just go for the best compatibility, especially if it's, you know, very low effort to add the support. You might as well just do it. You know, you're 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 making the operating system better, like so and so. Of course, you know, I can say that with like old PowerPC Macs, you know, and so on. You get the point. Why can't we just try and keep the versions running on the most things? Why can't we go for the most compatibility? Why not? There's probably programming stuff, to be fair. Don't forget, I'm not a programmer. But if I were, I would still want to target the most stuff possible. Okay? You know, of course, I need to come up. I do want to get into programming. It's just I need ideas. I want stuff. And I've got to, you know, try and learn how to make stuff as compatible as possible, because I want to run, you know, whatever I make on as much stuff as possible, and also, you know, of course, optimization. If you're going to make it compatible and everything, you might as well try and optimize it to the best of your abilities. Okay? Hopefully that made sense to you. But yeah, that's my logic for this. So I'm thinking of like other cool stuff you could do on old devices. I mean, Reddit, the old Reddit, should work. Should probably work on my iMac G3 on Mac OS 9 if I do the proxy thing that I was talking about. It should. I don't see why it wouldn't work. Of course, I need to test it. I'm not gonna like literally completely untest it. Not even when I was doing more like I'm still doing low quality video, I'd say. But even when my quality's lower, I would at the very least make sure what I'm showing works, because otherwise we're gonna have people complaining about it not working in the comments below. And like, what's the point of showing something that's just, you know, you haven't tested, you don't know if it works, and so on. So there's my logic, okay? Hopefully it makes sense. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what else. I guess Brutal Dawn could also work as well, because Brutal Dawn is a Mastodon client. Of course, it's compatible with anything that uses the Mastodon API, such as Calci, which has got experimental Mastodon API support, or Akoma. Well, Chroma should have it, right? Well, it might not. But with that, you know, you get, it's basically a client, a Mastodon compatible client that runs on older web browsers and text-based web browsers and so on, which is a really cool little piece of software, and it certainly works. So I mean, it sort of works with Calci. You can use the new login form, which is problematic because the login basically barely works on even slightly older browsers, which is problematic, as it kind of defeats the point when you're using Calci. That could be fixed in the future, as don't forget, Calci has got experimental Mastodon API support, not full-on Mastodon API support. It's not finished. So you've got to remember that, so it could work in the future. By the way, if you're wondering what I mean by old login form, basically, it's just like input the instance, input the email, and input your password and you'll log in. So it works on. That's what I had to do when I was using Mastodon for iOS 6. So it probably applies to a lot of web browsers that are unable to load your preferred Mastodon API compatible network. But yeah, on to the next topic is, well, I guess would be on the next topic is Mastodon API is just exploded. Mastodon's exploded in popularity. That's just pretty much facts. That's cool and so, but the thing is, Mastodon's not the only part of the Fediverse. People need to understand this. People are explaining the Fediverse really poorly. They're focusing too much on Mastodon, and this is problematic because people think, oh, what's a pleroma, what's a miskey, those are probably the most likely ones to be talked about. What's a PG, what's a pixel fed, and these channels just don't describe it. People need to stop focusing on Mastodon because it's kind of ruining the Fediverse in a way, and start focusing on other platforms such as, I'm a massive fan of CalCut, even though there are still problems. As I said, one of them's technically not really a CalCut problem, especially now. But if the Fediverse is just going to focus on Mastodon, you get all these tools like, Mastodon Twitter cross poster. I mean, I know that's dead now, but I mean, you can make your own version if you're willing to pay that person have stupid amounts of money for it. And maybe it could be against their terms of service in the future. You never know now, thanks to him. But you could have him, making of these silly rules. But it's not really a problem. But if you're on the Fediverse and you want your posts from Twitter to appear on whatever your preferred Fediverse platform is that isn't Mastodon, you might face into issues because all of them are going to be designed for Mastodon, not your preferred platform. So the only real solution is to use the Mastodon API or make it yourself. And not everyone's going to be like, I'm going to make a cross poster for CalCut and MissKey or whatever, or my Pleroma. This is why people have implemented Mastodon API into stuff, and even then it's not going to work. Out of the box, as I said, CalCut's only got experimental Mastodon API support. You've got the activity pub protocol. I'm not a programmer, I've got to repeat that. But what's the point of activity pub? Okay, this is going to sound a bit stupid, but I think it's kind of true. What's the point of activity pub if you're not going to be able to use all these things that use the API? Why can't you have an activity pub API, it's we have a standard way of posting messages to the Fediverse, how it's shown on other Fediverse platforms, but we aren't able to have a cross poster from Twitter to the Fediverse without it requiring like Mastodon API, you know? Okay? But I want to reiterate I'm not a programmer, so maybe there's some technical issue that I'm not aware of that is the reason why that's a problem. But it does ruin the Fediverse. I'm sorry, but it does. That's quite a bit of a run, but yeah. But yeah, so I don't think it's very good to pretend that Mastodon's the only part of the Fediverse, and you know, especially with these videos trying to explain it, where they focus way too much on Mastodon, just because it's popular and it's not even that good. That's my opinion, but still, I don't think if people were to use like Calc.key for example and compare it to Mastodon, they'd be like, oh my god, this is so much better than Mastodon. Why was I thinking Mastodon's a good platform before? That is the thing, and that is why I hate how it's going so far with the Fediverse. And then also you've got people moaning about Meta controlling the Fediverse, but the thing is, we should really be moaning about the fact that Mastodon's controlling the Fediverse. You know, sure, free and open source, you know, developers, but the problem is, it doesn't matter if everyone's got to focus on it because it's the most used. Whilst there are bare platforms out there that are also part of the Fediverse they can use, but the problem is you don't have all of these cool tools because no one's made a universal API sort of thing. That's just what I'm gonna say. That's why that's my biggest problem with the Fediverse. It's not necessarily the faults of the people who make the Fediverse platforms, but it's more of the problem of what the API, like, you know, the cross-poster places have made and stuff. And yeah, I'm not necessarily technical, but I have a small idea of what I'm saying. But I'm not a programmer, don't forget. So you've got to remember that. Okay, have I made that clear enough? The Fediverse is a cool idea. I love the idea. It's a really nice place, but Mastodon's what's ruining the Fediverse. I just hate Mastodon now. And I think, you know, maybe I should try and make a video telling people why Calc.key is better than Mastodon and why you should use it, and you know, stuff like that. And you know, that is a video that I want to do, a Calc.key showcase. You know, it's basically the future. If the future is the Fediverse, as long as Mastodon doesn't get too much attention, it's just, oh, you got Mastodon, what else? So I think, you know, that's what I think. Okay, so I've made that quite clear, I think. So probably time to move on to a different topic. What other topics do I have today? I'm saying this like as if I've come up with like all these topic ideas. I guess another thing would be sort of Linux. Now I've sort of, you know, been a bit of inactive at looking at Linux for a while, like a couple of months now. As you can see, well, if you see this in video form, then I'm on Minecraft. But the thing is, I need to start getting back into it because for a long time now, a couple of years, I've been wanting to make my own Linux distribution. I've come up with the name. It's so like S. Yeah, so we've got SYHU. That is how you spell it. Okay, I'm gonna sound like a massive idiot. That is literally how you spell it. Was it No. Use this YHUU. Basically, I can't even remember. I think I accidentally wrote that down on like a keyboard, and that's literally how I came up with the name. God, it's been a while though, don't forget. But yeah, so I'm still not necessarily sure what it's going to be based on. Yeah, initially I was like a massive Arch sim, but as time's gone on, I've sort of gone like a full-on Mastodon with them as well. Arch is just not that good. It's unstable. I don't understand why people like a really unstable system, and why they think, oh, I'll say this. This isn't really the case anymore. Oh, I'm better because I've installed Arch the proper way with the instructions, all these commands you gotta do. Well, instead of like using the Arch install, which is literally now built into the ISO. It's a great way to install Arch, but like, yeah, that essentially is what annoys me. People just like feel really thinking, oh, there's so much better because I spent 1 hour installing Arch manually. It's just rubbish. Okay, that's what I think. But that's not why. Well, it's more the fact that it's an unstable system. The users are a thing, but the bigger problem really is its instability. I have seen people try and defend the fact that it's unstable, being like skill issue, and I think skill issue is just rubbish as well. It's usually just used because I feel like skill issue is just used because people are not willing to admit mistakes, and I think it's quite rude, and I think it shouldn't be used. Okay? Opinion. That's an opinion, by the way. And then, yeah, so Arch Linux users are annoying. We've got Fedora. Fedora's stable. Well, I say that I'm using the Brava, which is like gaming focused Fedora fork. And it's actually quite good. I mean, it's what I use right now. I've never really thought, oh, it's unstable or horrible. And it works, it does the job. Stable, it doesn't break every 5 seconds. My problems are it's made by Red Hat, and, well, I say made by Red Hat. I think they're just more like funded, but pretty much, I mean, you've got Mozilla, who's like funded by Google, and yet they have a completely competing browser software. It's like, well, say that, not really, but you've got Fedora and it's stable. But the thing is, I want a good compatibility, not just stability. Now, I think there's only really one distro that, well, okay, there's probably two. Okay, there's two distros that I think are my requirements: stable and compatible. These are like, there's only two existing things that I could base it on that meets those two requirements, really. Okay, there's probably, I don't, okay, there probably is actually more, because you've got Alpine, which I haven't really used, so I can't really say much. Arctics is Arch, but without System D, right? Okay, maybe not Arctics then, but Alpine maybe. That does seem to have good compatibility. But that's not what I'm gonna do. Well, not one of my options yet. My options really are Debian. So Debian's quite compatible. I've not really used Debian that much, to be fair. in fact, I don't think I've ever used base Debian, so maybe I could be wrong. So I'm basing this off of my Ubuntu experience, okay? But I think Debian's a good option because, apps, people are familiar with apps. No, but I do think the way they have like repositories, you've got like the PPAs, that's not necessarily a good idea, especially when you have two major distros with different repositories using the same package manager. It just causes issues. So my other option is a Delhi Linux. I think it's not quite pronounced that because it's got like a thingy. But a Delhi Linux is targeted for low-end systems essentially. What else? Yeah, and it probably real. Okay, the thing is, okay, if I'm being honest, I haven't really used it either. But from what I can tell, it's compatible. Definitely ticks that as PowerPC version, and it should work. I mean, I have actually run it on the live CD on my Mac G5. It wasn't lagging. It uses, well, yeah, it uses Mate as default, but you do have options of, KDE and stuff. So it's compatible. It's got PowerPC, normal x86, 64, ARM. Of course, the main problem is packages. Really, that's the main limitation. You're limited in packages because it is Gen 2 based. Still a fork. I don't think it said. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's sort of like Gen 2. And I've not had any experience with Gen 2, by the way. I just want to point out. But, by the way, so I'm planning to either do a Delhi or Debian on my iMac G5, but it's been quite unreliable. Now, I'm not saying, they're unstable because of that. Debian, the PowerPC port is actually unofficial for 64 and 32-bit now. But at Delhi, it's officially supported. It's just the installer's a bit broken. So I'd have to probably try and fix it, essentially. Because it's not a good idea to essentially be like, release it as a product and have it broken an installer where you've got to manually do partitions. I think there was something else. Oh yeah, package install. Just because the install is broken, I shouldn't be shipping that out. So I'd have to essentially fix it or get someone to fix it because it is an issue. Apparently, it might be solved. To be fair, because the video that I was talking about was quite old, but I'm not exactly sure. So that maybe it isn't an issue anymore, but it could still be an issue. Okay, so a Linux I feel like might be the best option because it's a sort of fresh base. It's not really based on. Not really. You've got Chromebook OS. That's Chrome OS. That's it. Which is based on Gen 2, but you don't really call it based on Gen 2 and whatever. But if you have the pre-compiled packages, which it has by the way, I think Gen 2 has pre-compiled packages. It's just you can tweak it to your system requirements. I would say I'm not an expert on Gen 2. As I've said, I've literally never used Gen 2. But I think Delhi Linux might be the best option. But It could also be something else that I've never heard of. You never know. But I probably should have said this earlier. But the main goals with this main reason why I don't want to ship it, but also it would be a bad idea to ship a broken installer on PowerPC anyways, is I want to make it easy to use. I'm not a UX expert, but I mean, wouldn't be bad learning it on the way. I've had annoyances with links before, let's be real. And I do want to just get them sorted, get them gone, you know? So one of them would be like, I want automatic drive install. Windows got it. Why can't Linux? Another thing that Linux doesn't seem to... Well, okay, probably both of these have been implemented in some ways, but I've never seen it on my system, so... We've got, you know... What was it I literally just said? Yeah, automatic driver install. But, what about automatic? Setups, do it. But what I mean is, plug in like, I don't know, fingerprint reader, and it just, like, after you've done the setup, maybe a year after you've installed it, and you just plug it in, and it automatically grabs the driver from the internet, and boom, you have a function fingerprint reader. How about that? Would that be the thing you'd want on your Linux? I think you would. Okay? So I think that's one thing that Linux seems to be lacking. And yeah, well, I say one, there's another thing. Well, one of the few things, I've only really think of two on the top of my head, but there's probably not. And the other one is quite simple. Being able to unmount the system drive, resize the system drive safely. I don't understand how this has just flown over people's heads. Maybe it's something that's been added, but I've never heard anyone talk about it. But being able to resize your system partition if you wanted to think, I need this Windows application. It won't run in Wine, it won't run in VM or a game, I guess. So I've got a dual boot. So let's shrink my system partition down to whatever size and hit apply, and your system will do loading thing. You'll probably load stuff into a RAM, and then once it's done, boom, you've got a smaller partition to install. The smaller partition, your Linux partition shrink, and you're now able to install Windows. Dual boot Windows. Oh, why is that not a thing in Linux? Last time. Okay, maybe I should look it up more. To be fair, I haven't done research about this. Okay? So maybe it is a feature. But at least I'm admitting that I don't know it. Okay? That's the one thing that people don't see. They just sneak in misinformation. So, plus I did say I don't know. Not, there isn't an option necessarily. Okay? Okay, I'm defending myself. So, why is that not a thing already? It really feels like it should be a thing. How hard is it to understand? Okay? So, I think we've talked a lot about a lot of stuff. And was it worth your time? Feel free to determine it. So, this is pretty much a podcast, really. I edit in an intro bit. But yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed this. See you next time. Maybe in a week. I don't know. And yeah, next time I'll probably be more organised because it's talking about, you know, the last 7 or so videos, what else I've been doing, you know, some rant, some discussion. You know, maybe in the future I could get guests. But I mean, yeah, of course it depends what they're talking about, if it's relevant, if it's something I'm interested in. But yeah, guess that's pretty much it for this Minecraft and podcast. See you wherever for real this time, okay? Goodbye.